Hello, today I will shoot another trilingual video and the first one trilingual video about the Book of Town records from board game of Gloomhaven. First part will be in English, second one in Russian, and the third part will be in Romanian. So let us start in English. Remember, those are spoilers, and I do it more for myself and my colleagues who are speaking Russian and Romanian. So, let us read. Congratulations on retiring your first character. Until now we have retired 3 characters, 1 player have retired 2, and another one have retired 1 character. I know it was hard to let them go, but retirement is a vital step to your journey through this game. Remember that, unless told otherwise, you should add the corresponding city and road events of your retiring class and any class that you have unlocked on the event decks, as detailed on page 6 and page 48 of the rulebook. And don't forget to add 1 prosperity to the city. 1 check mark. 1 check mark, not 1 additional level. On the opposite page you are encouraged to document the details of the character who retire over the course of the game. Log in the player name, the character name, their class, level and number of perks. Number of perks granted for the next character of this player, not a number of perks that you have added for this. No, number of perks that you have added for this particular character. After documenting your first retired character, feel free to turn the page and continue reading. Eventually, however, you will arrive at a yellow line that instructs you to stop reading until certain conditions are fulfilled. Make sure you don't read anything beyond that until you fulfill those conditions. And now let us start with the part that starts after retiring our first character. So we want to start some sort of record of the old mercenaries who've moved on from Gloomhaven. A short bearded man asks you with a skull. Sounds like arrogant to me, but I'm sure I've got a spare record book somewhere in the stacks. He puts down his pen on the spine of the books he was inking and steps out from behind the counter at the front of the town records building. I'll be back in a bit. Don't steal anything. He gets in 1 more good skull before turning and walking toward the back of the building, nearly tripping on his overly long robe multiple times. As he slips behind one of the many shelves of the books, your attention shifts to the building itself. The town records building is a large circular structure on the west side of the coin district. Built as a status symbol for the town of wealthy merchants, anyone who actually enters can quickly see that the massive library is woefully understocked. Some sections, as the teachings and philosophies of the Great Oak, are reasonably full, but many others have just a handful of books occupying long barren shelves. Perhaps this was why some of your merchant friends were so adamant about you taking a trip to the town records building in the first place. Recording your party exploits creates more contact to fill these empty halls. With this in mind, your thoughts turn to the open books directly in front of you, the one the clerk was walking on. There are 2 texts on the corner, and it looks like if the clerk was in the process of transcribing the writing of one into the other. Looking more closely, however, you notice the titles are different. The complete book is titled The Rise of the Human Civilization, while the other is titled The History of GLOOMHAVEN by Dominic Scream. Intrigued, you begin to read what he was reading. At some points, thousands of years ago, humans stopped hiding in the caves and began to form societies out on the open, erecting modest farming villages that eventually grew into a massive, sprawling city we see today. Living out in the open was never easy, though. There were wars both amongst themselves and with other races such as Valroth and the South. More troubling, however, were the constant raids from more barbaric races of the world, Inuks and Vermling tribes who had no concept and peace and wanted only to kill and destroy. Walls were always necessary, as were the armed men who guarded those walls. For this reason, the civilization of man grew and developed under a militaristic rule. Those skilled in warfare held the highest position in society and governed from the perspective of keeping their charges safe from the outside attacks. While this regime of strength kept the human race alive and functioning, it did stagnate the growth of other cultural facets of the society. What the civilization lacked in culture, though, it made up with rapid expansion and settlements spreading out from north to every corner of the continent. This created a strong foothold to ensure that humans would continue to prosper and never again have to go back to hiding in caves. Best to start at the beginning, eh? Dominic now stands before you with a small amount of leather-burning parchment. I found this in the back. It should do well for your purposes, but I see that you've found something as well. He shifts his feet a bit and hands you the parchment. Most people see GLOOMHAVEN as some sort of backwoods caravan stop, he says in an accusatory tone. An unnecessary evil in the middle of deadly wilderness, but I disagree. I love GLOOMHAVEN and I believe in it. Its history needs to be documented. I think this town plays a far more important role in the history of this continent than anyone realizes, and I'm going to prove it. Dominic flashes a brief, nervous smile and then grabs the two books on the counter. But it's not finished yet. Not by a long shot. Come back later and I might have more history to share. Now, we should stop reading this until GLOOMHAVEN has reached Prosperity 3. So practically, it is quite improbable that you have reached the level of Prosperity 3 before retiring your first character, but there is such probability. Didn't think that it would take so long. So we'll speak in Romanian and Russian next time. It was a good start because I've read and now have an idea how to translate. Some words I did not know, and I'm not a professional translator, so I will translate them like I think it would sound better, because I'm not an official translator and it's important to me to keep the storyline, not the exact translation. And sorry in advance if you will hear Romanian and Russian version and they will be different than the version in your version of the games, because there is a version in Russian of this game but there is no version in Romanian, because most of the Romanians know English better than Russians. And that's it for today. In the next video I will talk about this book. in Russian and Romanian languages. Thank you for your attention.